welcome to the Rockwardness Podcast, where every episode we talk to an incredible musician about why they started playing music in the first place, why they kept going, and they play us one of the first songs they ever wrote. We're your hosts. I'm Rose Sean.
I'm Terence Leclerc.
And I'm Tony Tancredi.
Now, normally on our podcast, we interview one person at a time because really, there's a lot of story in every single person. But today, you are in for a treat because not only are we talking to Aria Pullman, the singer known as A.O., but we are also joined by the very funny actress Alexandra Holden, who is her partner in crime for the hilarious YouTube show Out of Luck.
Ooh. Amazing.
So, Tony, truly, like, how the heck?
How the heck do you know them, Tony? You know everybody.
Well, okay, so I met Aria back in like 2006 at a Vauxhall Broadcast and Eastern Conference Champion show at the Echo, and I'm pretty sure it was like backstage or something after the show, but I just remember chatting with her about her band Some Go Haunting.
That's a tiny backstage, Echo.
It's a very small backstage back there, and I think people were like smoking. It was
like up the stairs
crazy.
right there, yeah.
But we were talking. I remember Some Go Haunting. I remember I went and looked her up on MySpace, but I had her come down. I was doing sessions at the time in Mission Viejo, and they came down and did a session. And I just remember having so much fun with them, and she's funny as they come. Well, I mean, you're about to laugh a bunch.
Yeah, I mean,
great one,
we certainly had a good time with
She's
them,
hilarious.
and she's very funny. And we just kind of had the best time talking to these girls. And I don't want to oversell it. You might as well just listen because they just have some amazing stories to tell. So let's get right into it.
Let's go.
Yeah, and it kind of and it decompresses and then lifts itself back up.
Yeah.
Oh,
What
yeah.
is that? Is that like a hydraulic or something? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know anything.
Watch out when you're
Bus
standing
talk.
outside by the bus, though, because the dirty gust of bus dust will get you every time.
Mm-hmm. It's hot.
Say that 3 times
Dirty
real fast.
gust of bus dust. Okay.
Yep.
Dirty gust
Dirty
of
get
gust
bus
of
dust.
Yeah, dirty gust of bus dust. You have
He
to
just
move
wanted
out
to
of
get
the
you
way.
to say butt.
I think that
Among
you should
poets.
write these children's
Yes.
songs with me, Tony.
Done.
Oh my goodness.
We'll start tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like it.
Well,
Yeah, hello.
Exciting.
Aria.
Yeah.
Aria,
Good to see you.
welcome.
Yeah.
Welcome to Rockwardness.
Welcome
Thank
to
you.
Spencer's backyard.
Yeah.
We're still in
It's
Spencer's
beautiful.
backyard
Yep.
with the orange tree that always is the silent guest that's always there with us.
Podcasting in the wild.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Yes, I love it. Thank
Oh,
you.
Thanks so much for being here.
So we were just kind of, introducing you to the concept here. Let's see. So maybe just as like a beginning question, like how old were you when you first decided to write a song?
Well, really young, I would think, because I grew up on a hippie farm. So in upstate New York, near Woodstock, but not exactly there. A little town called Coxsackie.
Oh, nice.
Which do you know it?
I grew up in New York.
You
but
did?
Like, I know Woodstock area.
You do?
Yeah.
So yeah, Ravenna, Queens, Selkirk, Coxsackie.
Are these real places?
Yes. Yes, I know they're kooky sounding, right? But yeah, we had a little hippie farm on my aunt and uncle's in their house, and I was just around that from a very young age. So, gosh, when my dad, everyone played. So I literally would just pick up pots and pans, and I think that's where like vocals obviously just came in. It was really natural for me to do harmonies and whatnot so let's see. First song, I don't know, 5, 6,
That's early.
right?
So how did that go? Did
Yeah,
you
were there like instruments hanging around?
Yes,
or,
and
yeah?
everyone was always playing.
Like what instrument in particular was exciting to you?
My voice, vocals,
Yeah,
really.
Yeah.
like a cappella?
Yeah, I would just sing, but please don't make me do that.
No.
Okay, good.
So the
Yeah, give
like,
us 5 minutes
I'm
right
like,
now.
oh,
I
no.
know, ready, go.
I'm putting myself into a hole.
so the song you wrote when you were 5, you probably just kind of like made up a melody and
Yeah,
sang
it was something about, like a toothbrush,
Yes.
Love it.
You're a pink toothbrush, I'm a blue toothbrush, and we met somewhere before. I'm a pink toothbrush, you're a blue toothbrush, and we met at the bathroom door.
That's
brilliant.
adorable.
Yeah.
Something
really
like
clever.
that.
That's really clever. No, I love that. I mean, it sounds like you were in an environment where that was very much like encouraged and nurtured.
Yeah, it really was.
So was there a point where you were like, I don't know, learned an instrument or got like, okay, I'm like gonna be a songwriter now. Like I want to be a singer-songwriter.
I love already that rhymed and that had like a great story. I mean, like,
Yeah.
that had so much in there already.
There's pink and there's blue.
Yeah,
There's
there's a
gender
message.
roles.
There's
being
gender
assigned already. Yeah.
Have you considered writing jingles?
No, I mean, I would love. I would. Yeah.
You'd be good at that.
Yeah.
Thanks.
That's beautiful because there must have been some kind of like influence of like, I mean, if not inherently like growing up within a family, like just, you know, understanding like song structure and understanding all that stuff, you know?
Yeah, there was no song structure with us. I mean, they were jams, you know.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
These were big time jams that went on for, I don't know, hours. But it was great being a kid in that environment because, you know, we dip in, we dip out, and just run free and play star. You know, just wonderful. Just a wonderful way to grow up.
Kind of being, and that's an interesting introduction to music too, because it's not piano lessons. It's just sort of like flow state,
Yeah, I never had one lesson.
but just play.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, my old roommate when I lived in the East Village in New York, she was a concert violinist from Czechoslovakia and Czech Republic now, and she was so structured in her, you know, in everything that she did, and especially her musical upbringing. And I was the exact opposite. And she would have people. She played Carnegie Hall on a regular basis. Yeah, she's amazing. Her name's Jana Andaskova. Hi, Jana, I miss you.
Shout out to Yana.
Yeah. What up?
Jana, Yankee, I would call it.
Had a show.
Anyway, she would bring over the, you know, all these cellists and concert pianists, and they just played shows at Carnegie Hall, and they would come and jam with us. You know, but I could jam, and they would all look at me like, you know, like, where's your sheet music? Like, no.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sorry.
Oh my goodness.
Not
Yeah,
for
this,
me.
like understanding that sometimes like people who are like drenched in theory like have trouble jamming and vice
Yeah.
versa.
So what got you on the path to like being a songwriter or like being a musician? Like what really put you there?
Singing in the streets, and I would busk. That's what I did in New York City.
With backing tracks or just
Yes.
that's amazing.
Nice.
No backing.
Oh.
No,
Just,
nothing. I'm
like,
sorry.
Solo acoustic, like I
Yeah,
mean,
just me and my voice. I would find
that's
good.
even more amazing.
Yeah, I love
That's-
that.
Yeah, I would find
Gutsy.
good halls, and like the subways or the F trains, really good.
Oh, natural reverb?
Oh,
Yeah.
I
What's
love
the
that.
tunnel between Grand Central and
Times Square, like
yes,
that 42nd.
so there's that.
Yeah.
So the
the
long
shuttle,
tunnel.
yeah.
You know, and you kind of have to compete for space down there too.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah, there's like a saxophonist about 20 feet down.
And then a violinist, and then whatever. Then I would just set up shop and.
What songs would you sing?
I don't even know. I like a lot of times too with the hippie farm. I mean, it's about sounds. It's just about making noise, you know, and really truly using your voice as an instrument and not necessarily saying anything.
That's cool.
you
So it'd
know?
be like sometimes it'd be just
Sure.
vocalizing.
Yep.
That's so
Warm
cool.
ups, warm down, all of it.
Would you ever scat?
Yes, I love to scat.
Nice.
Yeah.
Will you scat a little bit right now? Do you have like
I have like a weird one from chorus where it was like, maybe you know that, but like, scat is where it's at, you gotta sing it cool. Words that they don't teach you when you go to school. Nonsense has a meaning, we're not fools. Scat is where it's at, you gotta sing it cool.
Yeah.
I love that.
Do you know that one?
No, I do now.
Cool.
So you're singing in the subway, which I know exactly the tunnel you're talking about, and the acoustics are incredible.
Yeah.
So did people approach you like, do you want to do stuff? Like,
And that's kind of how it started out. Yeah, I just started just trying to be in bands and trying to make as much music as possible, really, because that's all I wanted to do.
I feel you.
So I traveled a bit too through Italy. Like Italy, I did it there. Japan, my first band was in Japan. We were called the Tomato Clowns. And we would go to the squares like Miyaka, in Miyakojima, which is kind of like the center of. They have a town center, and we would go there on
cool.
Saturdays and Sundays and just jam out.
This is with a band.
Yeah,
So it'd
like
be
so two
yeah.
two guitarists from Canada.
Nice.
acoustic, electric, two
Acoustic.
acoustics. That's so cool.
Yeah, it was cool. It was great. So yeah,
Okay, so you were doing Tomato Clowns in Japan, but you were only in
Tomato
Japan.
Clowns. I
silly.
love it.
Which honestly sounds like a Japanese band name. But,
Right.
But then you were only in Japan for a short time.
Yeah, because you could 3-month visa, work visas each time. So I went a few times, like three times total.
So cool. So would you
Throughout my
connect
life.
with the band each time? Like were they locals?
No, well, they were English teachers.
No way.
Yeah, so 2 times. Yeah, so twice we did continue because they were still there, but then the last time it had totally changed. No one was still there.
Tomatoes grew.
Yeah. I finally I started really getting like really working hard. So I didn't have time for it anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then so that took you, at this point, you're going back to New York mostly? Or you technically lived in New York that time?
Sure. And yeah, because I would go, New York, I grew up in upstate, so it was only 2 hours away, So when I wasn't working, I would just be home, in the Catskill Mountains.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So you weren't living in the city.
No, I would come in, work, go back home.
Okay, so how did you get involved with Apocalyptic?
So, yeah, Apocalyptic.
Which is,
I love that
sorry,
band. Yeah,
the
that's
best
the
band
best
name
name.
I've ever
Was there something
Ever.
between the Tomatoes and the Apocalypse?
So, I mean, gosh, what did happen then? Yeah, there was a lot of traveling in between that, and then I settled. I was like, okay, I'm in New York now. I'm 24 at this point, and I'm living there, and I'm like, okay, I want to legitimately try to do music, more so than modeling or anything else. And so I got word, I don't know how it happened, but somebody just, how when you have like musicians, friends and whatever, you're in that scene, I got word that they were holding auditions.
Oh, cool.
And and I auditioned, and I had to, they made me work for it.
Apocalyptic?
They did. They did not hire me right away. And it was probably,
What was that process like?
it was probably 3 months of rehearsal and me writing to all of their, because I guess what happened was they had a singer and she just wasn't working out. And they were hesitant to bring anybody else on just who was flaky or I think she was aggressive. That was the word on the street. So I was just,
That's interesting.
only aggressive on stage and in my vocals.
I know, I was going to say, it's a pretty aggressive sounding band.
Yeah.
So it's like,
But
some songs are nice. San Francisco, it's kind of more down-tempo.
that's so cute. You guys listen to my
Of
songs. I
course.
love that
Yeah.
so much. But yeah, so it really was about a 3-month process, and I rewrote all, because they had the music, but she took everything with her. So I had to rewrite all their songs, and I did. And then one day I just was like, am I in?
I wrote all your songs.
Are we?
I think it's my band now. Yeah.
And then then it was like a real celebratory thing. And
Aw.
yeah, it was cool. I love those guys. The mid-2000s in New York City were really magical for me. I lived above the Sidewalk Cafe, which I don't know.
Yes,
So
I know it well. Lach. Is it Lach, or how do you say his name?
I always called him Latch.
Latch.
But that's probably not right.
I always thought it was Lach.
But
like Bach.
so you brought up Peaches, but the Moldy Peaches started
Moldy Peaches,
there.
that's right,
Jeff
yeah.
Buckley started there.
Yeah.
So I would go downstairs, and just the music, the level of music that was coming out
Rick
of that
Veda
place.
played there, yeah.
Everyone did. It was wild, and I don't know if you had ever been there, but it was
Yeah.
it was just a little hole in the wall.
It's tiny.
Tiny. And I was so intimidated by those musicians.
What was that scene called? Like anti-folk?
Yes.
It's the anti-folk
Yeah.
movement.
So that was my jam.
Yeah.
I lived right lived upstairs.
Home of
And
Anti-Folk. It had the banner there.
Yep.
Yeah. So what places in New York would you play?
CBGB's,
Yes.
Arlene's Grocery,
Yes.
Don Hills, Continental.
Yeah, all those places.
Yeah,
there.
all those. I guess that was
Lower East Side, Ludlow. Like what's
Yeah.
Arlene Grocery's right there.
Pianos.
I
is
just
right there.
remember, like,
yeah.
So Pianos wasn't around.
Oh,
when
wasn't? Oh, wow.
wasn't there yet.
Okay.
But yeah, Arlene's Grocery. That's actually where we recorded the record.
Oh no way! So it was like, yeah, that's true. And they do that too. Yeah.
They had so the last tune on the Beer, Whiskey, Wine is from a show at Arlene's. And they would record it for you there. But they had a studio downstairs, and
Oh, that was nice.
Does that place still exist?
It does.
I want to go there so bad.
It does.
I've never heard about it.
You should totally go.
Yeah.
It's a fun, weird, wild scene. It's just everyone's still doing it. You
That's
know?
so right. Yeah.
A lot of my friends are still, and it's like, I love you guys.
Yeah.
I love
God
you.
bless
for doing-
you.
So when you were writing like the songs for Apocalyptic, you like when you'd write instrument parts, would you kind of like hum the melodies
I do that.
Love it.
I do that. I can't play well. I can play a little bit of everything, but not well. But so a lot of times I will hear something like, especially on guitar, if there's like a lead solo or something, I'm like, oh yeah, try this. Da, da, da. But again, I mean, I was working, the musicians, like they already had their set, and they were really good at what they do. So I also don't want to step on anybody's creative toes.
Sure.
I only ever want to add to the, joy to the process. And sometimes that can be like, oh, if the lead singer is like scatting something for you, you know what I mean? Maybe that could be a little annoying.
But that's like a
Or
tough
amazing.
challenge because it's like you basically had to write songs for a band that already writes a certain way.
So they
you were
had
top lining.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was top line. Yeah.
Top lining.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
it's just
I didn't
kind
even
of
think of that.
It is kind of funny that you just came in and re-top lined their songs.
It's true. Yeah. Everything. Really,
Yeah.
Pretty much.
That's wild. Yeah, like coming in to this kind of fully formed thing and like creating like a new receptor site for you in this and what was like an existing collective. It's a pretty interesting experience, and especially for it sounds like Tomato Clowns was a little bit of like a warm up of like just performing in front of people, but like this sounds like maybe your first like
It
proper
was.
band. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Definitely.
How like auditioning wise, like where'd you find out about it, and what made you choose that band in particular?
Well, it's not like it, I didn't really even know about them, and it just things line up with that process, right?
Yeah.
That's just the one that was the loudest that you heard about.
Yeah.
And you
I
followed.
mean,
yeah.
Both metaphorically and literally.
Yeah, I've been there.
Probably. They needed a singer. I needed a gig.
And you were like, yep, that's
Yep,
perfect timing.
that sounds
Perfect
great.
timing. Yeah.
And I like to scream, so
Oh, that's fun.
perfect.
So great. Was there a song you wanted to introduce? Apocalyptic.
Oh man. I mean, I guess ADD would be maybe the single on we didn't have singles really back then. We just were like, yeah, we made a record.
Yeah.
Right?
That's what
Isn't
everyone used
that-
to do, yeah.
There's no singles.
Oh, yeah.
It's like we made a record and you're meant to hear it from beginning to end.
Well, you're
Yeah.
gonna buy it on CD at our show.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly.
And now, like, what's a CD?
Yeah.
Right.
A lot of people are wondering what you're talking about.
It was CD.
God, I miss CDs.
What? So like, what's the song about, and what's?
So ADD. So when I was auditioning for it, they were like, "Well, what do you like to write about?" And I'm like, "Definitely not love." And they were like, "Great, we hate love." I'm like, "Yes." And so it was
punk
more
about love.
Yeah, what's that? I guess I was like, oh, this, I like to sing about kind of ironical things, if that's a word, I'm not sure, but
It is now.
Yep.
good.
Yeah.
And at the time, this was right when there was like a big like ADD all of a sudden was a thing, and also reality TV was a thing too. And so I kind of was maybe poking fun at all of that, how we were kind of like becoming addicted to television. I mean, phones weren't even a thing yet. But yeah, we were becoming addicted to saying that we had something. And it's funny because I actually did get, I do have ADD.
You didn't know it back then?
That's what I think. So, on a certain level, just because of the way that we consume information these days. And that was like the beginning of that. Like things were starting to happen, like what we were talking about earlier, MySpace, like all this information was suddenly available to us. So it's a reflection of that.
Can't turn me off and can't cut me cold, 'cause I'm living large in each one of your homes. You always have me here when you feel alone. I'm your new best friend when the power's on. What you're looking for? Well, I got it here. A new tabloid cure, a fresh kind of beer. So pick your poison and don't be shy. I'll keep you sedated. I'll open your eyes.
Well, I think we've just proven that Apocalyptic was writing songs ahead of their time.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what I read on the internet was that that band actually like got some bigger attention, and you guys did some covers on some like tribute albums
We
and
did.
compilations.
Yeah.
So what's that about?
A friend of mine, this is terrible because I was trying to think about how we actually did get on those compilation records, because we did a tribute to Offspring, which
Oh, nice.
I love that cover, by the way.
Thank you. Yeah.
Is that on Spotify? I didn't see that. Okay.
And then it's a tribute to Rancid, and then the worst ever tribute to Offspring, I think, was another one, which I thought was really funny. And
Wait, so you did two Offspring tributes?
so two.
One's bad though.
Yeah.
It's the worst.
It's the worst.
Yeah, the worst is the best.
Yeah.
Just FYI. And then we also did we were on a record called New York City Rock and Roll through Radical Records, and they were putting together the kind of the bands of that time that were that were playing around the East Village. It would, like, had Banana Fish Zero and Slunt and Sex Slaves and Dirty Mary and Apocalyptic. I mean, all of these just great names. I was in this sort of glam rock, punk rock scene, and Strokes and the Yeah Yeah Yeahs were directly next door. And for whatever reason, I went to that glam rock scene, and I just sort of, although it made me who I am, and I'm so appreciative, I'm like, God, why didn't I go to over there? At the time.
Should have taken a left at Albuquerque.
The sliding doors, man.
Yeah.
That's funny.
It's kooky how that happens, huh?
So what's yes, yes, very, very much so, and just things that like at the time you're like, yeah, but I'm into this,
Yeah.
and you just are, and that's your journey. But
It was that whole garage rock revival kind of thing.
I know, gosh, that was such a thing. It was like every band on Indie 103 was wearing suits to their shows.
Yeah.
I love suits.
I mean, I mean, who doesn't like a suit?
Who doesn't
Franz
like a suit?
Ferdinand rocked
Yeah.
a suit.
Oh yeah, I clean up nice in a suit. Yeah.
I could see it.
Are you?
You're in a suit
I'll shower
right
that
now.
day.
You're in a suit, yeah. We could just say you're in a suit. Yeah.
Yeah, we're all in suits.
We're all in suits.
So you had that kind of run with Apocalyptic, and what kind of caused that to end, or was it just like normal band stuff, like people move away or get married or something?
I think it was just normal band stuff. We did a record, which you guys heard some of, and then we broke up. And isn't that a normal band story?
That happened to me.
Yeah. That's my band story.
That's every band story.
Yeah, that's how it goes.
Yeah.
So weird how that happens. I don't know why. So the guitar player, Lasse Savola, he was a math professor at FIT, still is. But he wanted to do hockey.
Wait, he was a math.
I'm sorry, he wanted to do
Wait,
hockey.
There's so
So
much happening. Wait, there. Hold on. So he was a math professor at the Fashion Institute
Yes.
of Technology?
Yes.
What kind of math?
Pants math.
I mean, I'm
the hard stuff.
sure,
stuff.
really
Yeah, I
hard.
guess
It
the
was
hard
fashion.
math, yeah.
For fashion. Well, yeah. I mean, if you're measuring and
Geometry?
cutting and stuff, like,
Trig
I don't know.
floor.
So wait,
that's fascinating. There's a
not
math professor at FIT.
Yeah.
that surprises me. But so okay, he was a math professor,
From
but he wanted to do
Finland.
he
He's from
wanted to do
Finland, yeah.
hockey.
Yeah, he wanted to try.
This guy rules. Yeah.
He does actually. He's doing
What
all
did he
the solo.
play? The guitar,
He's lead
yeah.
guitar, yeah, all the solos. But so yeah, he's from Finland, and he's really logical, and just he was such a good guitar player because, I mean, it's math, right? So he just could rip it, but in a beautiful, sensitive way, if that makes sense.
Sure.
Totally.
We made the record, and he was like, okay, guys, so I've been really getting into this hockey thing lately, and I'm going to,
So funny.
I only have enough free time, and so I'm going to give that a try. And that was just the beginning of the end.
Oh, sure.
You try to replace
Yeah.
somebody, and it's,
I know that recipe.
It's a whole thing.
We try.
Yeah. So you said goodbye to Apocalyptic, and then what was your next project? Some Go Hunting.
So my next project, that's when I really got into songwriting on a trying to be a more professional level. I got with some really great writers, one being Jeff Cohen, and that's where I started doing music for film and television. We wrote a song called Back to Boston, which was in the horror film See No Evil. I don't know, it was like in 2006 or something, but that was my first taste of like, oh, I could really do this for a job.
Yeah.
So that, and I really started trying to just do more of that and do. Yeah.
So I saw actually online that you wrote some stuff for Jimmy Kimmel Live.
I co-write a lot of tunes with my husband, who's Joshua Strander from a band called Mondo Cosmo, and yeah, he's rad.
He's rad.
Shout
he
out
really
to
is.
Josh.
Yeah, Josh, you rule.
Hi, Josh. I help him because we can't help it. We are in the same house. Our studios are in the same house, and if we're writing, it's just inherently that something is going to meld in one of my lines or is are in his songs and vice versa. So I co-wrote on his first record, well, all of his records, but his first record had 3 songs on there. One, Hey Steven, Plastic Soul, and Shine, which was the single. And Shine got a lot of attention. And yeah, it was on Jimmy Kimmel. It was on Lucy in the Sky. There's a bunch. But I'm
Animal Kingdom, perhaps? Music City. Do those sound familiar?
yeah. So.
Yeah. No, I was asking about Kimmel because I was thinking like, oh, if you were doing publishing stuff, like sometimes they would do like little music video bits or something. I worked there off and on for like 4.5 years. Yeah.
Oh, that's
so
fun.
that's why that jumped out to me.
Okay. No, it wasn't that. It was just that he performed Shine on there.
Oh,
so,
gotcha.
So
I've seen him perform it.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. It was.
Cool.
I thought that was so cool to see that you covered it.
Were
with
you
him.
there?
You know
at
what?
the time?
I don't think I was on Kimmel when he performed.
Okay.
But I have seen him perform that song. Maybe it was at Bardot.
Okay.
That sounds right to me. I don't know.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Back to Boston. Back to Boston.
Yeah.
Back to Boston.
That was my first taste.
Yeah. So like your writing process, was that like the first time you like were kind of co-writing professionally? Like what was how'd that work? Were you writing lyrics and melodies? And
So yeah, lyrics and melodies. And I guess I would go, do these writing sessions and people just had, I mean, you guys have done, you kind of just throw the kitchen sink and say, well, what's your deal? Like, what's your vibe? And
because I love that, because I mean, it began with that, and it sounds like, that collaborative process, and maybe that's growing up on the farm too, the hippie farm. It's just collaborative process has always been like kind of a happy place for you.
I think so.
Yeah.
I love it.
Because you have a friend coming in a little bit.
Yes.
Yes.
I can't wait till she gets here.
Who's coming?
Alex.
Is she walking in
Alexandra
right now?
Holden. I don't know.
Yeah. Wait, so is that Alex?
It's me.
She's here.
Oh,
Hey, welcome to Awkwardness.
I made it.
Look who the cat dragged in and put headphones on.
Yeah.
Wow, everything
Which
was
I
set
needed
up
help
perfectly.
with. Yeah, that was the headphones were tough for me.
My goodness.
They always
That's
are.
perfect timing.
They get me
'cause
every time.
We were
So-
just talking.
Yeah, well, we were talking about Aria's sort of journey in songwriting.
And how she's great with collaborations.
We'll fast.
Growing up on the hippie farm.
Yeah, so we'll just fast forward to the
It's
present.
one toothbrush meeting another toothbrush is essentially
Right.
what's happening.
Which you might have missed that
Yeah, I don't
reference.
get it.
I feel like I've sang that song for you before, but
It's her earliest composition,
song, yeah.
apparently.
no, she's
it's-
giving me a.
She's
She'll-
like,
she'll hear it.
she's like, what the hell are you talking
It's just
about?
kicking you.
It's a very
Yeah.
But no, so fast forward to the present day, you guys are collaborating on a web series.
Yes.
Yes.
So tell us about that.
Well, it's called The Out of Luck Show.
Yes.
And Aria talked me into doing it. We always were like, let's shoot something, let's do something. But then we just end up hanging out. Nothing would ever really happen. But I showed up at Aria's one day and she was like, it's now. The time is now.
Nice. She just pulled out her phone and was like, do something funny.
But pretty much.
Yeah.
No, she had a plan.
I did have
Oh,
a plan.
wow.
I had a loose idea.
Well, let's go back a little bit. So how'd you two meet?
How did we meet?
Well, through a mutual
Through a
friend.
mutual friend. And I just knew I liked Alex right away. She just has that, you just have an aura about you that
I can see that.
I mean, you're just people. All the time, people are just drawn to you. So I was one of those people, and our mutual friend. We just kind of started hanging out, and
We liked each other more.
yeah, we had
Than the mutual friend.
Unfortunately, that is.
we sort of had to like get together in secret.
We
It
had to
was
sneak
weird.
around.
That's hilarious.
Strangely, I've also been there.
You have, right? Girls with three.
Possessiveness.
Yes.
Weird
It was-
things come out.
It was very strange. I'd never really been in a situation like that before either, so it was weird for me. It didn't seem as weird for you. No, I'm just gonna say that now. You were like,
I've encountered
you
that
were
kind of
oddly
thing
okay
before.
with it. So yeah.
Well, I think there's this idea that like when we grow up that we like grow out of petty jealousy or feelings of awkwardness or like any
Not
of these
at
things.
all.
But no, you
No.
totally don't.
You-
You're
you-
still your like teenage self, just in like a better body.
Better, weirder.
Yeah.
A weirder body.
Older,
Hopefully better.
Hopefully.
wiser.
Wiser.
A wiser body.
I definitely feel like I've like leveled up from high school.
Yeah.
But even though you are kind of wiser, you still have all your little like, what if they don't like me feelings, I think.
Absolutely. That's just life. Huh?
Yeah.
Please like me, please.
You're just
like me.
better at masking it, hopefully.
Yeah.
That's what the whole
Right.
getting into music thing is. It kind of gives you a secret language to meet friends.
Totally. You're not in college anymore, so you're not meeting people in class. It's like, you meet them at shows now.
Yeah.
Or on set.
That's true.
Met some of my bestest friends on set.
Yes.
So well, we lucked out though.
We did. So we just started doing that. I had some idea for a British character and her psychic sidekick. And so that's sort of how Out of Luck was born.
I remember that skit. That was great.
Yeah, MC Tribeca and
Yeah.
Sunshine.
That's what it is. Yeah.
Sunshine. I could tell you a fortune.
She's psychic,
Yeah. It was the model who was like pointing to LA and like, this is New York. Or Central Park right
Pasha
there.
and-
Yeah.
Yes, I love that
Yeah,
so much.
It's like New York City. It's just like obviously Los Angeles.
Couldn't be more LA.
Yeah.
Hollywood signs. Griffith Park.
Wrong.
Some of the clips you guys, some of your clips, I was like, oh, well, I know where that is. So, I mean, obviously location wise, you're shooting in LA because you live in LA, but it seems to me that a lot of your inspiration is also coming from like living in LA.
Yeah, I think we do shoot in other places. We shoot wherever we go.
Yeah.
Wherever we are, we kind of a lot of times because it's all improv. And we have ideas of what we want to do, and especially now since we edit everything, the editing process can just be so arduous that we've started to script things out more so that we know exactly, okay, we want to start at A, end at B, and then land at C.
But the dialogue is all off
Right.
the cuff.
That's so
Controlled
amazing.
improv.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you're doing your own editing, it really keeps you honest, I think.
Yes. But it's also great too because you can manipulate sometimes we say things and then it wasn't in that order or what have you. We can change it around and make the characters say different things that we didn't. We're like, oh wow, that's really funny. Put that there. It's always a surprise. And it's a really fun surprise, I think.
Am I wrong, or did one or both of you do UCB at some time?
I did.
Upright Citizens Brigade, for those that don't know.
I did.
Yes. Shout out.
Just because I always am kind of trying to go to school, weirdly.
I love school.
I am
Always
not.
learning.
Same. I'm with
Trying
you.
not to
Yeah,
go
no
to
thank you.
school.
But I do. I try many different things. I'm just always doing that. So yeah, UCB was one of those things because the theater place that I was working with, Anthony Mindel's AMAW, recommended it, and so yeah, I did it, and I did everything. They have the master or the final class where you have to do the show in front of
The
everyone. And
Herald.
I think we were friends at the time, and I did not let anyone I know come. I feel like you were like,
I didn't even know that you were doing UCB till way after.
That's so funny.
I refused to
My
tell anyone.
sister
It
did
was
the same thing.
Terrifying.
Oh, man.
And I did everything that they told you not to do.
Huh.
You're supposed to yes and I did no but.
Sure.
and in an accent, a
Good.
lot.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're
No.
like, don't ever do. Okay, well,
Yeah, I don't. I watch improv and I am just thoroughly floored. I really, really, really don't understand. I mean, I'm not an actor at all, but like improv seems like the hardest thing in the world to me. And my sister actually started doing improv, maybe a year before the pandemic shut it all down. But yeah, she wouldn't let anybody come to her shows for, I think, like at least the first 5.
That's so
Yeah.
weird. I'd be sending out like Facebook and MySpace
Well,
texts. I'd be like, everybody.
No, that's
Well, like
that's
there were
amazing.
people there, but I think it was about like having like my parents or people, she felt accountable to. So
It's
yeah.
vulnerable.
It's
yeah,
about
for sure.
people that you know, right?
Yeah,
Don't
the
Oh,
people
yeah.
you're closest to, it's the most vulnerable in
That's
front
true.
of them for some reason.
Yeah, what are they going to think?
But it's funny
Yeah.
because like
Yeah.
my parents are our biggest fans and love like literally everything we do, even if it's horrible. So I don't know what she was worried about exactly, but yeah, she wouldn't let them come for
Yeah.
like, I guess
It's more like the idea of having your parents there, I think.
maybe I don't
And
know.
I mean, I guess it's like if you're playing in a punk band, there's something punk about doing improv. And it's like if you're in a punk band and you have your parents there, they support you,
Yeah.
but it's also kind of like
You're also like, leave,
You're-
mom.
Right.
Yeah.
it's very vulnerable to be like, shout out to my mom and dad in the
Yeah.
audience, like it takes
Mom's
it takes
moshing
guts.
in the front row.
Mom's moshing.
Or maybe you're going to be more inhibited about like, I don't know, pretending to like give birth in the back of a taxi cab or something in front of your mom. I don't know.
Oh, you're totally editing in your head. You're like, can't
Like,
use
oh, I don't
that.
want to, I don't want to use the C word in front of my mom.
You had great instincts though, saying no but, because like I think it's a misnomer, that yes and thing, because it's like a lot of people take that too literally, I think, when doing improv and learning it. And it sounds like from our conversation before Alex got here, that you've always kind of like played to your own tune, so to speak.
Comfort in the improv space. Yeah.
is
Comfort in
true.
doing your own way.
That
Flow
is
state.
true.
And following your own like intuition about these things.
Yes, thank you.
Absolutely.
So Alex, let's talk about your background a little bit. Like we gotta, you can't be on Awkwardness without talking about something sort of teenage and possibly a
Technically,
little embarrassing.
You got to mention MySpace, I think.
No, it's
Yeah.
actually I know you
Tom
haven't.
runs this show.
Were you
That's
ever
what he's been
on?
up to.
We're
I've
sponsored.
never been on my.
No, that's what I was gonna say. I was like,
oh,
Alex,
what?
Oh, that's
she
it.
definitely
No.
was not on that.
I'm not.
You
I'm
dodged
not
a
on
bullet.
Facebook either.
None of that.
I'm proud of you.
Aria got me to get
I
on the
forced her.
Instagram though.
It's
Sorry
my
about
favorite
that.
social media.
What do you want to know about
like-
my?
How'd you come up?
Do you have any kind of musical background?
No musical background. I was forced to take piano lessons, probably from the age of like 6 to 11, and would never practice. My mom could not get me to practice. Just didn't come easy to me, and
And you just weren't into it.
don't really like doing things I'm not good at so much.
I really feel that. I
Yeah, I
really
feel
feel
ya.
that. Yeah, much to my probably detriment, but
We just fought about it. It was just a big family fight. And so
That
my
sounds
mom
about
just
right,
gave
though.
up.
until
Yeah.
she was finally like, fine.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
Cool.
great, because on the other hand, like Aria, you're like, never took a lesson.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And then
that's an
doing all this
interesting
music, so it's
contrast
like,
where
yeah.
you had the like formal like you must take lessons, and her parents were
I-
like, here, bang on some pots and
I
pans
know,
or
isn't
whatever.
that wild?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
And-
the way to go, I think.
Yeah.
Or-
That it reflects also in our process.
You guys have a balance going.
Yes, we
Yeah.
are very much a yin and yang situation.
yeah.
What did you tell me the other day? You said something really cool about fly.
Oh, the optimist and the
yes,
pessimist.
and why they
need each other. An optimist would just get in an airplane and take off and fly. But the pessimist will be like, hold on, let's make sure there's gas in the tank. Let's check all the nuts and bolts. And then together,
Yeah.
really soar.
right.
Who's
love
who?
that.
I love that.
I'm the pessimist.
So
I'll own it. What am I going to do?
She's the best pessimist in the world.
Yeah, no,
says
it's-
the optimist.
The bestimist.
Yeah.
the best
There we go.
I love it.
Yeah.
but I feel like, I do feel like pessimism gets a little bit of a bad rap. You're right. It's
But it
like part of the
shouldn't,
equation.
and especially the way that Alex presents it, because it's just the funniest thing on the planet. It's just her. It's just the approach. It's really funny.
Well, we appreciate candor. So piano lessons didn't work out.
I did write a musical, though.
What?
Around that
Hold
same
on.
time.
Okay, tell us everything.
How old were you?
11.
Okay.
So I came up with the story, and it was called Allah and the Royal Family.
Oh.
And it was about a princess, of course, who wanted to be friend with the servant, one of the servants at the palace, and the queen wouldn't allow it. You know, very original stuff here. Groundbreaking.
Yeah, no, it's
For an 11-year-old girl,
we
this
call
is
that an
totally.
archetype.
That's very
outside the
sweet.
box. Yeah.
So was the Princess Ala?
The princess was Ala. Yes.
And so what happens? Is there a melody, a song you can hum from it, some lyrics?
Well, I'm not a singer, so this is what happened. I'm like, okay, we're going to write this musical, and my little friend, she wrote the music, and I wrote the lyrics. And then it came time to shoot it. We were shooting it for our local cable access channel.
That's amazing.
That is amazing.
Yeah, right?
I'm
Like,
dying.
you're
okay,
11?
go on. Go
is
on.
I'm jealous.
Great.
And I'm like, I won't do it. I won't sing. So I spoke all of my solos.
Yes.
Can you speak?
Can you
one?
speak?
Yeah, speak
Can you
one.
speak one of your solos for us?
The only line I remember is, why do they always have to be so mean? Why do there always have to be two teams?
That
I
is
love
deep.
it.
I love
No,
that.
I love that. I feel like
I
that's
mean,
like
true.
Thank you.
politically timely now.
Yeah, that is a question that is
Yeah, right.
true.
We're still asking that
Universal
question. Yeah.
theme.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I love that. So that's great. So you were 11 years old and you like co-wrote a musical that, and they filmed it for your local, what do you call it? Cable access.
Yeah, wait, were you Ala?
So you were like Wayne's
I
World.
was Ala.
You were the
Yeah.
princess.
I was.
With the conundrum.
Imagine that. I wrote a show all about me.
I get it.
all about you. But
Wow.
So were you like in costume? Were there sets?
Oh, yeah. We had costumes, you know, nothing accurate to any region. It was just loosely Middle Eastern.
Oh,
Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, like Princess Jasmine.
So, yes, like that.
nice.
This kind
Oh.
of palace.
Oh, gotcha.
Right.
Very sweet.
So, yeah, we had, I don't know, whatever we took out of our mom's closets that looked
What was the style of music?
blousey or something.
the style of music.
Was it like Disney?
It was like plink, plink, plink. Yeah, I'm like, yeah, I
Plink,
guess
plink,
so.
Disney.
Plink, plink, Disney.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So that is so cool because, you know, I think a lot of children sort of write musicals in a less formal way. I know my friends and I certainly did some version of that, but it was like basically us just playing and then like making our parents watch for a while.
Right.
Yeah.
Did that a lot too.
Yeah.
Never got to the
Never
cable
get
access.
cable access.
Definitely we're
Wow.
not
And
on
then
any
we
kind
don't
of
invite them to our shows later on. What gives?
That is true.
Yeah, we don't invite them to
Yeah,
good
that's
stuff.
First audience, but that's it.
That's
No.
it.
Yeah.
No.
Never to appear
They,
again.
my parents were not allowed on the set of Ala and the Royal Family, though.
Oh, really?
No.
Wow.
There was not.
You put your foot down. That was in your rider.
It was that, whatever
Yeah.
that vulnerability thing is with the parents, the mom, dad thing.
and
eye
this
rolly
is
thing. I
that's
don't
so
know.
great. Yeah, you
Oh,
like that
yeah, that's-
self-consciousness of like I want them to approve. I don't want to see them disapprove.
Well, also I think that they're also liars.
Oh, yeah.
They're lying.
That's great,
to-
honey.
I know, right? Like, tell me the truth.
right.
Yeah. I want to hear it was bad, son. It was
Well,
really bad.
But then when
don't.
I'm just kidding.
I mean, like,
No, because then I'll go improve. If I'm thinking it's good,
Right.
I'm just going to keep doing the same
I
shit.
mean, that's a
thing.
slippery slope.
Yeah, but you're Tony. That's
Yeah.
different.
Also,
I feel like
you're
that's how you
amazing.
get bad presidents is having parents
Yeah.
who don't like
Oh, you're right.
Fucking-
Tell you
yeah.
when you're wrong.
You're right.
God, no, that is such a great story. And that was are you from Minnesota? Is that right?
I am from
Yeah.
Minnesota.
So that was, you know, Channel 11 whatever or Channel what?
Oh, channel, who knows?
Yeah, how
Okay.
did that come
It was-
about? Like,
My teacher had some connection at the local cable access
That's rad.
station.
Yeah.
And so she was like, oh, you know, we've got this group of girls they're creating. And
That's so cool.
so she hooked it up somehow. Yeah.
Is that, I mean, is that what kind of gave you the acting bug, or were you already doing a lot of plays?
No, I was not doing really, there wasn't much theater. I'm from a pretty small rural town in Minnesota. And I did go to like summer day camps, theater day camps, for a couple summers in a row. But mostly it was just at home with my friends. A lot of home video camera stuff.
Love it.
I was definitely, even from that young age, like as soon as I got my hands on a video camera, it was all about the film and television medium as opposed to stage.
I think there's something interesting about like the consciousness of the camera.
Yeah.
because we didn't have a video camera in my house until my sister was born, I was about 10 years old. And so, like, when I was a kid, it was more about, like, putting on a play. But then once this camera came into our lives, it was like, oh, we can make movies. They just, like, took it into this, it, like, elevated it to this, like, I don't know, more, like, exotic realm or something.
and also
Now it's
just
forever.
Yes, that's what it is.
Right.
It's real,
Yeah.
right? You can watch it.
It's
back
content. You're creating
it's
content.
You guys were content creators at that early age.
Well, I always wanted to create
Yeah.
my own content, clearly.
Yes.
But it took all these years later.
I'm so happy I know this story. I didn't know that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that is.
We're making connections.
We never
here.
talked about it.
No,
I guess.
so now you are into it.
I was into it.
I did have to force you though.
You did have to pull it out of me. But it was in there.
It was.
You knew.
I know.
That's what awkwardness is all
So
about.
what got you, what got you into, I mean, because you've acted in some really cool stuff. Like, how did you get from, being in this tiny town that didn't even have community theater to being like, to being in like feature films and an Aerosmith video?
Oh, yeah. Wow. That's a blast from the past.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
But like, what was the, what was the sort of bridge between, cable access and...
I had an uncle who convinced me to get headshots taken just to send out to like local agents and casting directors, because there's a few big companies in Minneapolis like Target and 3M, whatever, Best Buy, and just to make some extra cash. And then nothing ever happened. I sent them all over town, didn't hear anything for 3 years, and then I got a call out of the blue. I had kind of forgotten about it, that they were doing this nationwide search for the remake of Lolita that they were doing with Jeremy Irons. And so I went in to audition for that. My first audition, they just handed me an apple and said, "Eat the apple."
Oh my goodness.
I wish...
The 90s.
I didn't know enough to be like...
I wish people could
creeped
see
out
my
by
face.
it.
What a
I know.
different
Nor
era.
should you know
Yeah.
that.
No,
Nor
I-
should
Yeah.
you.
Had no idea. And then I ran into the casting director years later, and she was like, "I'll never forget all these girls coming in being all seductive with this apple." She goes, "You just ate the fucking apple."
Good. Was it a good apple at least? Was it?
No, it was mealy. and
That's acting.
waxy.
I'm enjoying this
Yeah,
apple
right.
right
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
I feel like what we've learned about you so far, that sounds like pretty on brand. You just ate the fucking apple.
I didn't know any better. They told me to eat it. I ate it.
Yeah.
That's real.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they liked that. Was refreshing to them, I guess. So then they had me come back and, read lines, and then they ended up flying me to LA to audition, and then to New York to audition, and it was my first time in either of those cities. And
Gosh, that must have felt like...
And you had to
Yeah,
bring a guardian
mind-blowing.
with you too at that age, right?
yeah, I did.
So was it your
my
mom or dad? Yeah, that's really sweet.
It was.
But that must have felt such a whirlwind, going like from out of the blue. You have this audition. You're being flown to LA and New York, and like
It was wild, but there was actually like quite a bit of time between each step. So every time I would kind of forget about it. I was a senior in high school at the time. I was just living my life. And then I'd get a call, "Do you have to be in New York tomorrow?" And then it would be like, all
Oh my gosh.
systems
So
go
exciting.
again.
wow.
And that's really how the business has continued to
yeah.
be. It's like feast or famine.
That's the process, for
There's
sure.
nothing going on, and
Hurry
then
up
all of a
and
sudden
wait.
you got to be there yesterday. So that was. And then a manager heard about me throughout that process and contacted me, and I came out to visit, and she got me an agent, and I was like supposed to go to college, and I was like, "Guess what, Mom and Dad?
I'm going to
Going to LA."
Yeah.
So yeah,
Wow.
Were they thrilled?
they had
Supportive?
reservations. Yes, they were supportive.
I bet your mom loved being flown out though. That was like my mom, like I got a Clearasil commercial when I was in high school and we had to fly out, so I brought her with me. And so after that they're kind of on board. They're like, Keep
Right.
acting, kid. Yeah, it's going great.
Might get a flight out of it.
Yeah. No, she was excited for
Yeah.
sure. They were hesitantly excited for me. Yeah, they really wanted to cast someone who wasn't an actress. That was their goal. So they did. That's why they did this nationwide search.
I think I remember reading about that actually because, well, they ended up casting Dominique Swain.
Yeah.
And I feel like I remember reading an article about her when the film was coming out. I feel like I remember them saying, like, yeah, that they were looking for basically like a naive talent or something.
Yes, right.
Wow. I just kind of assumed that was bullshit, but I guess it was true.
Hey Rose, what were you saying off mics earlier? Your favorite moment of a specific show or something?
Oh, right.
The icon moment?
Yeah. So I knew I recognized you, and I was like, I don't think it's just from Drop Dead Gorgeous. And so when I saw that you played the student that Ross starts dating on Friends, I was like, oh God, of course, because like I didn't watch Friends that much, but that episode, specifically the moment where you yell out the window, "You suck," and throw a water balloon at him is for me the best moment in all of that series.
Yeah, well, he does suck.
Yes, 100%. I always
Geller sucks.
I
not
always
David Schwimmer.
I always hated his character. I just
Yeah.
I
What is it?
couldn't-
Everyone's got so much hate for Ross.
David Schwimmer's cool.
No, David
Yeah,
Schwimmer is great.
But
Yeah.
Ross the
No,
character.
the Ross. Like,
No
the
good.
Ross.
Everyone
Ross.
hates Ross.
He's so
He was and kind of just so mopey.
Yeah,
right?
but like
Had a
he's also
mopey
like kind of a
vibe.
jerk. Like
Yeah, I
it's
guess he
that-
did screw around a lot.
They were on a
women
break.
Now that
You know what? I just feel like it was that like that kind of like nice guy trope, except he really wasn't that nice.
No.
You know, like it was shady to date a
It was like
student.
90s
and
nice.
like, you know, yeah,
Yeah.
right. But you know what I mean? It's like
No, that's it. It was like
from our
weirdly-
current eyes.
yeah,
It's
exactly.
like actually, you know, you're not that nice.
Yeah.
Anyway,
It's true.
but I just remember feeling such a like cathartic satisfaction of like who doesn't want to do that when somebody like breaks your heart
that is true.
or rejects you in general. Just like, well, I reject you.
Yeah, first,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
before you ever.
Which, in a weird
did me.
way, is almost like, I mean, it's not Lolita, but it's sort of like a version of Lolita where he's dating a student and something like that. So that's kind of almost a full circle moment, kind of.
Well,
sort of stretch.
mean,
kind of
sure,
stretch,
no, I
stretchy
like
like a
it, I
water
like
balloon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that works.
Hey, we
God,
make
I
connections.
can't get
You
over.
do.
I
You're
can't
very
get
good
over
at
the audition of just eating an apple. That is so interesting.
Yeah, that's wild.
Now we've learned a little bit about each of you. Like, are each of you going to contribute like a kind of strength from the past? Like, you know, is Aria going to bring more music into it? Are you going to bring more like, you know, different stories and characters? And
Well,
apple
Aria
eating?
does write a lot of the music that
Yeah.
we use,
Yeah,
most
yeah.
of it really.
Mhm, yeah.
So
I do all the music for it, with the exception of garage band. Sometimes we really do dip into that, but a little too much. You know, the same sounds are just kind of boring
There's,
after a while.
used a great comedic effect for that one. Like, what was the one like where it keeps using that sting where it's like, bah, 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 like, it just like interrupts every 3 seconds with that. I was thinking for this podcast we should do that where it's just like,
It's just
so
an-
anyway, bah, 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 bah.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
we try to use it comic.
Music is an actual big part of it, because I
Yeah.
think there are so many times in life you just want to insert that crazy, insert something weird here, and we really try to do that a lot when we're editing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I wanted to ask you one more question before we talk about what you're doing musically these days, or what sort of like present example you want
And
to
the
talk
future
about.
of the show.
What was it like working on an Aerosmith video?
Working on the Aerosmith video was like, it was my first time doing something that was without any sound recording. So you're so free. Doesn't
Yeah.
matter if there's an airplane or somebody knocks something over. It's just, here's the space, playing it, go wild, do whatever. It was awesome, but I didn't get to meet Steven Tyler or any of the guys on the set.
Oh, no.
All of our stuff was shot completely separately to theirs.
Oh man.
Were you a fan of the band before you got it?
I was, yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
was it kind of disappointing that you didn't get to meet them?
Well, I did get to go to their show
Oh, cool.
after.
Oh, cool.
So
That's super sweet.
I got to go backstage and do that whole thing. So, yeah, it was awesome.
Did you get
worth
to
it.
Did you
Yeah.
get to hang out with Alicia Silverstone?
No.
I'm just kidding. She,
Yeah.
because she did an Aerosmith video too back.
did three.
I think around.
She
I
did
think
a
she
bunch,
did,
trilogy,
right? Yeah,
man.
like I think around the same time, right? Like I
It was
did
before.
Crazy. She did.
Yeah.
Was it Dreamin' or something, or like, and the one with Liv Tyler. But who's counting?
There was actually an SNL skit back in the day because the titles and even kind of the melodies were so similar. Where like, you remember how they used to have TV ads for albums where they
Oh,
would
yeah.
like play clips of the songs and like roll the song names down the
Yeah.
screen. There
Oh,
was
yeah.
a skit where Adam Sandler was being Steven Tyler and he was basically just like. There was crying, there was crazy, there was amazing.
Crying, that was the
and then
other
there
one.
was crying
Crying.
crazy and amazing crazy and it basically
Amazing. It was crazy, crying, and amazing. Or
There
maybe
we
not in
go.
that order. Yeah.
Oh, that is so funny.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm curious. What song did you do the video to?
It was called Hole in My Soul.
I'm gonna watch it right after this.
Yeah.
Me too.
It's really funny.
I don't remember it.
Oh, I do.
It's got
You do?
a funny
Was it
little
off Living on
story
the
to
Edge
it.
or like that whole?
I
or
don't
is-
even know. Is
yeah.
that terrible? I don't
No,
know.
not at all.
I think I saw it was 98. Does that sound right?
I couldn't tell you.
But yeah. So
The future.
yeah. What's the future of Out of Luck?
I think we're gonna put out these and then break up.
That's kind of a pattern for you.
That's what
I
you're supposed
see
to
a
do.
pattern. Yeah.
That's a callback.
Maybe Alex will go into teaching hockey.
Crying over here.
Crying when
I'm
she
just
met
kidding.
you. And
Yeah.
crying
I
when
make
she met you.
That's how much I make her laugh.
yeah.
Just
True.
kidding.
Yeah.
Full circle.
We do. We can like
We
improv
are-
off each other.
Yeah.
I love that.
We finish each other's
sentences.
Sandwiches.
Sandwiches.
Yeah.
We do.
I also like to finish people's sandwiches.
I love
But
Sam.
that's cool. You're gonna before you break up, you're gonna put out more stuff.
We are.
Okay,
We
good.
are. We are.
And then maybe never break up. Yeah.
I hope we never break up.
We'll never break up.
We'll never break up.
No.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, we do this because we love it. And so hopefully, at some point, somebody other than, YouTube will see it and say, hey, this is really good. You girls are really talented and, make it something more. That's always
the
been
dream.
that's the dream.
You're doing this because you love it and you're in it for life.
That's true.
That's right.
Do you have stuff ready? Do you have like more stuff in the can that you're like
yes.
ready to release?
We have a full first season written and ready to go.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, that's exciting. So, all right, that's one thing on the horizon, and then you also have your
Ayo.
current
My-
music project.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I plan on putting out more singles, doing a lot of those these days.
Oh, that's how you
That's
work
the
the,
recipe
algorithm.
It's singles.
It's cool though. I mean, I like it. I like those.
Who's the lineup on that band right now?
On AO,
Yeah.
honestly, it's me pretty much.
You're doing all of it.
I
That's
write.
awesome.
And then I will. I mean, I use Logic. I use Pro Tools, and then whoever is sort of around. Honestly,
Josh.
yeah. So
your husband.
I want to be around.
So do
Yeah,
you?
yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah, you got a band right here. Man.
Yeah, and so yeah, if the guys are, a lot of times I'll get, his players his band's amazing, and they love me, I love them, and they'll just hop in for whatever I need, which is so fortunate.
That's an asset for
That's
sure.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, do you record at home or do you? Oh, that's
That's
awesome.
it.
You guys probably have a pretty sick studio
We
between
do.
you and your husband. Yeah.
It's really pretty.
Yeah.
Is there a particular current song, that sort of exemplifies your journey to this point?
Or-
that
or
you like to
what,
introduce and talk about the lyrics?
That is the essence of AO.
Yes.
Oh, from AO?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess Life Out Loud, who I wrote with Tony. Now say his full name.
So his name is Tony Aguiar, not me,
Thank
Tony.
you.
Oh, it's
So
different.
it's a
Tony.
friend that I've had for like 35 years. Another Tony.
Yeah.
We
You collect
switched backpacks
Tonys.
in kindergarten, and our parents met. So then we met.
Oh my
And-
goodness,
Isn't
is
that
that
cute?
true?
Yes, it is, and I love that guy.
Yeah.
I was gonna
That
say
is
kid,
a
but he's
cool
not a
story.
kid. He's like in his late 30s now, and yet he has
He
kids.
just had a kid.
But yeah, he co-wrote that song with you.
He did.
That's amazing.
Yep. It's called Life Out Loud.
Sweet. So we'll play that.
Sure.
I'll just do me, babe. And you just do you. We got the windows down, 'cause we don't care about it. Our stars already found. We live our life out loud. We're gonna scream and shout. We gotta get it out, 'cause we're already found. We live our life out loud. 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 We live our life out loud.
Nice.
Yeah, that's great. Well, gosh, thank you so much.
Yeah,
Thank you for
thank you.
driving
Thank
down
you
to the
so much for
mountains.
being here.
We're
Alexandra,
very
thanks
much
for coming.
in luck to have Out of Luck.
Awkward. Yeah, check out Out of Luck on YouTube. Yeah,
Yes.
sweet.
Rockward indeed.
So rock.
Awkward
Can't help
indeed,
myself.
but what a great song and what a great time. And of course, there's another Tony in the mix.
There'll always be another Tony.
Also, the switching backpacks. I love that story.
Yes.
But yeah, we had the best time with this episode, if you couldn't tell. And it honestly could have been about twice as long. And maybe it actually was before Tony worked his magic.
It was like 2.5 hours.
Yeah. So anyway, maybe one day we'll post the uncut version. But Aria just has such an interesting story. I mean, it's hard to cut it out. You know, like New York, it's such a cool time, and Japan, and you know, Alex and her local cable public access musical.
So jealous.
Yeah, no big deal. And I love their dynamic together. Actually, if you want more of Aria and Alex, watch Out of Luck on YouTube.
Do it.
Yes.
We will post the link in the show notes so you can find it. If you want more from the Aria Pullman creative universe, she has a short story audiobook with a visual presentation called Griffith Park Stark House, loosely based on real events, coming soon, as well as a poetry picture book called Yogurt Can Suck It.
Take that.
A full-length horror script called Hippy Dippy Horror Trippy, and a dark indie comedy called Kidnapping Parker Posey.
Jeez.
There you
Goddamn.
go.
Busy.
Yes, very busy lady.
Prolific.
So make sure you follow Holy Smokes It's AO on Instagram to keep track of all of that. And, you know, it'd be hella cool if you just subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts or
Yes,
wherever
please.
you listen.
Yes, please.
A positive rate and review would be a huge help to us if you like what you hear. So thank you for listening. And we really hope you'll join us again next week for Ella Voss.
Ooh, see you then.